my guest this morning, he's a doctor, and his concerns are very different. So I don't think my guest, Dr. Kelechi Chikezie, Secretary General of the National Association of Resident Doctors, is going to be concerning himself unduly with that. But you're very welcome.
We are all Nigerians.
We are all Nigerians, but everybody has different aspects. Oh, okay. Now that we're there, this is breaking news. I'm just hearing it when you are hearing it. Does anything occur to you? Do you have any comment to make?
Well, I wouldn't have anything to
there
say
you go.
on that. Well, it's breaking news.
Indeed.
So we need to digest the news.
Indeed. But Emefiele, the suspended CBN governor, he's pleaded not guilty to the 2-count charge. And the federal government has actually opposed, his bail. But Justice Weibo has granted him bail in the sum of 20 million naira. So that's the much with that. Now, doctors, in addition to that, shall I say, have other concerns.
Yes, we do.
You have other concerns. And so much so that you've actually announced that a strike might be in the offing. It's like, what is it this time? Because there was a time when they were saying they're going to come up with some legislation that will prevent doctors from jackpying. I understand that that is not your issue. That, I think, can be resolved differently. But what is it? Is it that there are outstanding matters to the agreements that have been reached with government? What is the concerns of the National Association of Resident Doctors on behalf of resident doctors? And how real is this, the threat of a strike?
All right, thank you. Good morning. It's a pleasure to be here. Agreements reached with government. There have been numerous agreements reached, and it's sad to say that none has materialized. That is the truth. Now, why are we still here? You recall that in fact, since 2022, the Nigerian Association of Resident Doctors has been issuing ultimatums, and when government comes and calls for a truce, we shift the goalposts. All right, so we have been...
Please continue.
Oh, okay, thank you. So we have been in and out of discussions with government over the challenges of resident doctors in Nigeria. And since, like I said, 2022 till now, we've been shifting the D-Day, so to speak. We've been shifting the evil day, all in the bid to see if dialogue could yield some results. You also recall that sometime in May this year, we had to embark on a warning strike. The government called again as usual. We reached some understanding with government and agreed that we should suspend the strike while government gave some timelines to addressing the issues that were raised. It's sad to say that up until now, those timelines have long expired, and none of those issues has been resolved conclusively.
Now, most of these issues, if not all of them, concern remuneration, right?
Not so.
Okay.
You could say most of them, but not exactly so. Now, there's the challenge we have. You're all aware of the brain drain challenge we have in Nigeria.
That's right.
And it's taking a toll on our members who are working under pressure. One doctor is doing the work of about 10 doctors because we don't have hands. A lot of people are leaving the system. A lot of people are seeking greener pastures abroad. So we have too many of our doctors working under a lot of pressure because they have to cover for those people who have left. So we are doing the work of so many persons. And it's also affecting the Nigerian citizens because they come to the hospitals, they have to stay longer before they could see the doctors. Sometimes cases are cancelled. Surgical cases are cancelled because there's no manpower.
Wow.
Okay, so the burnout effect on our members is becoming excruciating. And it was one of the issues that led to the previous ultimatums and the eventual warning strike in the earlier part of the year. And it was agreed that as a stopgap measure, the government will issue a policy on what we call 141 replacement of exited clinical staff. Now, what that means is that when a doctor leaves, ordinarily in Nigeria, before any CMD in any of the hospitals can employ anybody,
Chief Medical Director.
yes, they would have to get waivers. You will get a waiver from the Office of the Head of Service of the Federation. You will get waiver from the Budget Office, and you're going to get a waiver from the Federal Character. Now, to get these 3 waivers could take them as much as 6, 7, 8 months, sometimes up to 11 months, to be able to get the 3 waivers. If you don't have the 3 of them, you cannot employ. So you realize that if a doctor or a nurse leaves the system, you have another 11 months to get a waiver to replace the person. So we said, no, that's not fair on the system. It's not fair on the people who are staying back to work in Nigeria. So let's have a stopgap measure. While you're looking for those waivers, can there be a way to replace these persons, okay, in such a way that once one person goes, now that one person that has left is already in the system. He's being paid salary before he left or she left.
Let someone else.
Okay, let someone just enter that space.
But as that, okay? That has been difficult for government.
It has been difficult for government. Now, the Federal Ministry of Health, earlier in the year, in fact, precisely in February, set up a committee. That committee, and it was a committee of stakeholders involved in this process. The Committee of Chief Medical Directors, staff of the Federal Ministry of Health, and other agencies of government. Now, when they gathered, they came up with a draft policy. So all that was needed was for that policy to be sent to the office of the head of the Federal Civil Service so that it could be implemented, come out as a circular that the chief medical directors can implement. Now, it was agreed in our last conciliatory meeting with the then Labour Minister before he left office on the 19th of May that the office of the head of Federal Civil Service had 24th of May to meet with the necessary stakeholders to look into that draft policy and secularize it.
So when 24th of May came around, nothing.
Nothing. Now, they were told that by 5th of June, that circular should be out for implementation.
5th of June came.
Yes, and passed.
And passed.
And
Still
nothing has happened.
Nothing.
Now, what we are hearing from them is that they set up another committee to clean up the system before they can come up. You see,
have you set a date yet for the strike that we're examining now? That is the commencement of the strike.
Truth be told, the strike action, we issued an ultimatum that expired on the 19th of July. Okay? We issued an ultimatum that expired on the 19th of July.
And nothing has still
been done. Now, what we have is that a few days to that 19th, in fact, a day or two before the 19th, we were called for a meeting, and all we had again was give us time. Oh. All right, so we have been having series of meetings. In all fairness to the side of government, the Secretary to the Government of the Federation has tried to wade in. The Speaker of the House of Representatives yesterday also called us for a meeting, and all they have been saying to us is give us time.